It appears to be live, so we'll do a quick test as usual, as is the routine. It appears to be live, so close enough. All right, so comments, and whatever else I decide to do. Yeah, we'll see. Here we go. Matthew 8. So in the context being, he left a pretty incomprehensible comment to a video, as if somebody and everybody or anybody would have reference to what he's saying. It's like responding to the content in the video without paraphrasing and saying something like, well, at this time code you said, or something like that. Instead, he just talks back as if somebody, especially somebody who hasn't played the video in a week, is supposed to know what he's saying. So anyway, so instead of just saying, yeah, you're right, that is kind of loopy. Obviously, it's not somebody who makes videos, right? I mean, I guess we'll look it up and see. But I mean, if you make videos and you get comments in your videos, you're going to know that that's kind of crazy if somebody's going to, make a comment on a video you haven't seen in 3 weeks, and you're supposed to know exactly what you said in that hour-long video. No, that would be ridiculous. Anyway, no, he doesn't make videos. You responded to a comment that I made on that particular video. So you made a comment on the video. Doesn't matter. I responded, right, in a video where I read your comment. My comment had context. Your comments don't have context. Something about how Maxwell's equations are different than Einstein's field equations. I don't know who's arguing with what, but I'm the one who's pointed out that Einstein basically did what Maxwell did. That is, he took the existing work and improved on it. So he took Maxwell's concepts that seemed good concepts and incorporated them into a bent space theory. Einstein initially sat down and thought, well, it says Maxwell's equations are a fundamental law of nature. I don't know if you said that. You're putting those words in Einstein's mouth. I don't know if he thought they were perfect and complete equations. Therefore, I'm going to examine the consequences of light having a constant velocity. That is just so ludicrous because everybody knew light had a constant velocity. That wasn't in question. Maxwell didn't prove that. Nothing. That already been established by a ton of experiments indicating that was the probable truth. So why would Einstein need Maxwell to demonstrate? There's nothing in Maxwell's equations that even have c in them barely. I don't even think one of them does. The speed of light is quite irrelevant. You only get to the speed of the magnetic force through derivatives of Maxwell's equations. That is, through using them to attempt to extrapolate on consequences, and therefore you end up with a constant speed that ends up being the speed of this magnetic force. So it's only a subset of Maxwell that has any concern with the speed of the force. When he formulated his theory of relativity, so again, he thinks Einstein needed Maxwell to tell him that light goes at a constant speed, when Maxwell didn't even demonstrate that. Maxwell just demonstrated that the speed of magnetism is the same as the speed of light. That's all. And then he decided to declare light electromagnetic because it had the same speed as magnetism. That's my understanding of the history. If you understand something different, then provide me evidence. Also, it is true that Maxwell's equations and Einstein's field equations are both differential equations. Well, they're both. Some of it is, at minimum, I'd argue, approximations, not not complete math. But anyway, I would make a video response to you. Go ahead and give it a shot. I wish you'd do the live room, actually, so I could interrogate you on the crap you believe. If I was going to give you a proper reply, if you were, yeah, but in my opinion, it would be a waste of time. Well, in my opinion, then why shouldn't I say that about reading your comments? If you're saying it's a waste of your time, then fine. I say the same thing about you, fuckface. I mean, you don't see how that's just a non-starter. You're gonna whine and complain you know, somehow you've been treated poorly when this is how you treat people, fuck you. Because I don't believe that you examine these ideas as honestly as you could be. That's just a veiled accusation, right? There's no fact. There's no evidence of my dishonesty. So just I can say that about you. I think you're a pedophile. There, you're obviously a pedophile. You got a little faggoty image, you know. You like very bad paintings of scared little boys. You know, so you're obviously a pedophile. I mean, fuck you. Many of the videos that you responded to were primarily made for entertainment purposes. What does that have to do with it? Oh, okay, so everybody's not supposed to take the physics videos where they go, the quantum reality of the reality, and blah, blah, and all that, those titles. We're supposed to just understand that's a cartoon. That's not supposed to have anything to do with science. So Neil deGrasse Tyson, Brian Greene, Sean Carroll, all of these guys are entertainers, and they have really they don't mean to imply that they're smart or they're telling the truth or they have any connection to telling an accurate history. They're not obligated to do any of that because they're entertainers. They're joke tellers. I mean, what a lame fucking excuse. Amazingly silly excuse. Oh, man. Many of these videos that you respond to were primarily made for entertainment purposes. It's just amazing. I'm right now playing the lectures from MIT. Are those entertainment videos too? I've only invested like 40 hours in those videos now or something like that. Those entertainment videos too? Fuck you. And I have yet to see where your theory adds anything to the current understanding of physical phenomenon. Oh, except for the fact that it actually explains causes for effects. It explains where the energy comes from to move planets. It explains exactly how magnetism works in the sense that it comes up with a perfect repulsive and attractive force scenario. It explains why there's two different forces and why they're different. I mean, what a lame cunt pile of shit. So yeah, fuck you. Just fuck off, you pussy. I would make a video. If you weren't a pussy, you would make one. You weren't a gaping, fucking, stinking liar. I mean, just lying about my position and lying about the fact that, yes, my theory actually unifies physics. Oh, but you can't see that. You can't understand somehow that Feynman's explanation of magnetism, which isn't even an explanation, where he never, ever, ever in any of his lectures ever explained why magnets attract or repel. None of your physicists ever do that. So why don't you show me the video where they explain why it happens, asshole? What causes the effect, shithead? Oh, that's right, because you don't have a fucking theory. Amazing. So yeah, fuck you. You're done. Oh, I wanted to read the comments on his comment. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Oh, damn it. Maybe I can find them in the bell thing. Let's see. You responded, so I don't know why it's on here twice. That's interesting. Let's see. To Einstein. No, that's not it. Hey, Mr. Roger here. My old channel was taken down, so I'm here on this temporary channel. Yeah, me too, Einstein. This is a guy who links to some sort of thing that blows up your browser. Yeah, right. Why do people take the coward thing? Yeah, damn, it's not under the bell thing either. Shit. Yeah, fuck. All right. Well, anyway, so this other asshole had responded to that comment by saying, "Well, look at this video where he said this about kinematics." He uses those words. In this little time code, he doesn't even know he can link in the comment section. You can post links in the comment section now, idiot. So yeah, you can't do it in the chat box, but you can post links in the comment section, idiot. You know, he's talking about how somebody else is stupid. He can't figure out how to do that. So anyway, so yeah, there's lots of things I've said in previous videos where they were pure speculation. The channel's called Draft Physics. I mean, Draft Science. Clearly, okay, I have been doing this one man for 7 years. and you've had 100 years to make up your little Three Bears bullshit story and to refine it. And I haven't had that much time. So yes, obviously I'm making a few more mistakes, but you're not finding these faults with the videos I want you to find fault with. That is the overview videos, the start here videos, the this is the most important video ever. Those are the videos I want you to tell me where I said something that's totally out of bounds. And you haven't done that yet, pussy. So whatever. These people are just so fucking foul. So your talent is what? I'm wondering if I can get to the video itself. Let's see. So people take cowards away. So that's the old one. Let's see if I might be able to find it on this thing. Yeah, I really didn't intend to wipe out that comment. That was not my intent. Let's see. It might be in the comment section of this video. Maybe. Might still be there. Let's see. Not much chance, but we'll see. Chat, nothing in the chat early there. And come on, comment section. Come on. Oh, I hate this shit. YouTube sucks. No comments. Okay, so out of luck. All right. Not terribly important anyway. Okay, so this is the paper bear. I don't know what that means, but Papa Bear. Oh, it's pretty spooky and scary. So your talent is what? I didn't know we had to have a talent. It's a talent contest. I can juggle a little bit. I can do all kinds of tricks with my penis. What is this? Critiquing other people's talent? ? Again, I'm not critiquing talents. I'm critiquing direct statements which they claimed reality is based on. Tesla's theories versus Edison versus Einstein. Those are real arguments, not some sort of fake thing. They're real statements people really made, and they're either right or wrong, and I was pointing out why I thought they were wrong. You're not very good at it. It says you're not really, you're pathetic, Papa Bear, pervert fucker. You are sitting there smoking some crack pipe, so he doesn't know what vaping is. So you don't know what nicotine is or cigarettes are. You know, John Wayne smoked, pussy. Trying to look smart. So I was trying to look smart while vaping, right? Smoking a crack pipe. Trying to look smart by smoking a crack pipe. So that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Because everybody associates crack pipes with intellectuals. Wow. By insulting smarter than you. Brilliant. Great sentence. By insulting smarter than you. You forgot a word or two in the sentence, Einstein. Oh, that's a joke, calling you an Einstein. Jimmy lists his credentials. What? His credentials for what? To make a propaganda piece about Tesla where you didn't know shit about the actual facts? Where did you get yours? Well, I actually have attempted to find the writings of Tesla, his own diary, his own statements, okay, and read them. A Cracker Jacks box, perhaps? Well, they don't contain that information. And I'm just saying the truth is the truth, okay? You can say Tesla had 175 patents. They're not patents on anything that worked. You don't understand. You see, for a patent to be impressive, it has to be for something that works, not something that doesn't work. Jimmy tells you in every video that he is presenting his interpretation of the data. Well, again, how do you interpret it? You can't interpret something wrongly. You can't say it's my interpretation that Thomas Edison was born in 1497. I mean, that can't be your interpretation. Your interpretation can't be to say something that isn't true. That's not an interpretation. That's called a misrepresentation. He wants you to go look the stuff up by yourself. Well, then why is he making the video? Why would that make any sense? Here, I'm going to do the work for you, except I'm not. I'm just going to sit there and make up some shit and then tell you to go out and find out what part I made up and what part's the actual truth. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I won't waste any more of my time. Well, you've wasted some of mine, so I won't let you waste any more of mine either, since you are obviously unhinged. You seem like the guy who's calling himself Papa Bear. Sorry. Yeah, no sale, Mr. Unhinged. Why would any rational adult human call themselves the Papa Bear? 27. Besides, I'm sure you have more important matters to attend. Well, anybody could do something more important than reading gibberish. It's probably about time for your roommate to put lotion on its skin anyway. So, and again, and your roommate is what? The Papa Bear. You're sleeping with a bear, idiot. You get it? Yeah, you're the one sleeping with animals. And you're talking about what other people are able to get. Very stylish movie characters. Like I should feel really bad that, oh, yeah, my life resembles a stylish movie scene. Yeah, I think I'd rather have a stylish movie scene than your pitiful life. Fucking asshole. So anyway, brilliant. This brilliant remarks from the shit gallery. Oh, people. So anyway, somebody did post a comment on the other page, not related to this one. Another website. Let me see if I can find it just to read it in its completely stupid entirety. People that can't figure out how to do anything in the right place at the right time. They're just so silly. Let's see. A Latino person, Let's see. If I were you, I would use that money to offer to a notable scientist to engage with you instead of a contest. So obviously, somebody hasn't paid any attention really to the history. I've done that over and over. $5,000 I was offering them, and I would actually solicit them and ask me, well, tell me your price. Maybe I'll pay more. Okay, so they won't even give me their price. So, but yeah, I've done that to a lot of notables, at least a dozen. I sent out to different people. Some of these like 60 symbols. Different places I did send out that aren't even that famous. And I got no reply from any of them. No one who ever replied was Professor Lewin. And his only response was, no, I'm working on secret stuff, so I can't have any unsolicited conversations because I have my own, any day now theory, I suppose. But anyway, at least it was a response, so I give him credit. But no one else even bothered to respond. Like I said, to direct requests for information regarding their pricing for their time. How much would I have to pay them for a few hours work? So really off the subject. Did I vote? Fuck you. Yes, I voted. Didn't enjoy it, but I had to do it. Asshole. Does the Higgs boson exist in your theory? Quarks? No, I don't think there's a need for any of them. Quarks, I can't say I'm totally opposed to the idea that protons could be made of smaller protons of some kind. But it gets into the whole charge subject, and you really have to have a balance between electrons and protons. So if protons are going to be made out of quarks, then I think electrons have to be made out of them. Or maybe protons are made out of 3 electrons. You could argue smaller things. There's elemental. I'm just saying, in my theory, there's a point where you can't break it down any further. But I'm just saying the evidence for all of these extra particles is all so indirect, and it doesn't really have any cohesion in the sense that it doesn't, like, where are you going to put all these things and how do they function inside of the atom? And none of them do function. So I mean, if you think they can make a rational theory, I haven't seen a rational model of the atom. They say they have a model, and the model is a bunch of categories and boxes and labels, but I haven't seen them show me a working atom moving through space with this model. What does the Higgs do while the atom is moving through space? So if an atom is inside my body anyway, and it's rigidly bound somewhere, and its components have been made of the same thing for hundreds or maybe millions of years, where do they show me a model of how that atom's working? They don't show me that, because they don't have one. They have a bunch of irrational nonsense saying, well, there has to be something doing this and there has to be something doing that, because they haven't accounted for the basic functions of the universe, like gravity. They haven't used a real mechanism, so they're stuck with an energy equation that doesn't have a something went in. And there's always something going in that they're not appreciating. And so they have to have some magical force. Like I said, that they don't even understand how charge works. So they think protons have to be pushed into each other to get close, because they don't understand that you just stick an electron between the two protons and they'll move right to each other. So they think it takes a tremendous amount of energy to be pushing them together, when no, it's really easy. Just stick an electron in there and it yeah, no work at all. So it's their model that is so, they don't have any understanding of the physical forces, and they don't even have forces. Like the gravity breaks a huge force, than them calling gravity bent space. It takes something that's a real force and turns it into nothing, and that has a consequence. And the consequence is they have nothing to, they have no understanding of where magnetism comes from, because you don't understand it's the same force that's created gravity. It's just a filtered force. And that seems to me, once pointed out, rational people should be able to concede, oh yeah, that's a perfect explanation for charge. Is that, yes, it's gravity is just polarized. That is, it comes in two forms, plus and minus. And the plus and minus force can be filtered to create elements that are radiating more positive than negative, or more negative than positive, and that'll explain all the charge phenomenon, all the magnetism, all the electricity, explains all that stuff. Explains why electrons are attracted to protons. Because the electron and the proton are the two matter bits doing the filtering. They're the ones that can tell the difference between the positive force and the negative force. There, done. I don't need 100 different little particles. I don't need to create fake gluon-y things. I don't need to create fake mechanisms to try to make things stick together, because I have actual forces that explain why things stay together. Anyway. So, I don't have the other comments to read, so I will have to move on to something else, I suspect. See if there's anything in the subscriptions, but I doubt it. That's not a subscription, that's a video. That's one of the Professor Lowen videos. Oh, it's stupid. Keeping all this stuff on the screen is kind of a pain in the ass, I must say. Why these videos aren't loading very well. I don't think I need those loaded. Let's see what this one is. Oh, that's the $3,000 prize. There are subscriptions. Let's see if there's anything new. So the Big Bang is, in my opinion, just solely irrelevant question. I mean, I don't know why anyone finds it fascinating to sit there and try to predict what happened maybe 30 billion years ago in the universe. It seems to me that it's obvious, some evidence that points to the fact that galaxies were smaller and hotter in the past. That is, all the quasars are way far away. And they're very small, compact, and that galaxies over time have gotten bigger. That's sort of a, I think, just kind of plain piece of evidence. So you know that something's changing, and change implies an evolution. Now, whether there was a bang, I would argue there wasn't. that all that really happens is the matter compresses, which means as it's compressing, it's storing energy. That is, it's capturing energy to be compressed. Compressed things require energy to keep them compressed, so to speak. So that absorbs energy that would have been in the open field. So, and the only energy to absorb is gravity. So as the matter became more and more consolidated, like the little bits of matter are pushed together and held together, to do that, you have to store a bunch of energy inside of them. That is, you have to create traps for the energy. The energy trap between the electrons and the energy trap between the protons. And so you've created a little battery by creating an atom. And so as you take the field energy and store it inside these little small atoms, then there's less and less field energy over time. And eventually the gravity gets weaker and weaker, and the gravity is the thing holding the stuff together. So as the gravity gets weaker, the galaxies get bigger. And how big they'll get, see, theoretically, they could just explode, and everything goes big again. Everything goes, lots of matter spread over empty space, and then it consolidates again, and then it expands again, and then consolidates and expands. See, so because once it expands, once the little electrons and protons are set loose, that means all the energy between them is let loose, and that energy is in the form of gravity, and so then there's more gravity, and then the more gravity will compress them. So I would argue that's what the universe is doing. But the Big Bang isn't based on much as evidence, redshift. And as I've pointed out in previous videos, I have my own theory of redshift, which is that between distances, when light has to travel a long distance, on its way, it's going to hit a lot of atoms. It's going to hit a lot of transparent atoms, hydrogen mostly, helium, maybe an oxygen here or there, nitrogen, all clear gases. So it's going to hit one of these transparent atoms, which means that the light will go through the atom without being disturbed in which way it's going. Okay, it'll be transmitted accurately through the atom. But the process of going through the atom means the atom's more likely moving this way away than towards the thing moving. So if I'm a photon, I'm likely to hit more atoms moving towards me than atoms moving with me. Because obviously I'm moving the speed of light, and they'll never catch up to me. So just by the law of averages, I'm going to hit more atoms coming against me than towards me. So over time, I'm going to hit more atoms moving against my motion, which means when I go transparent through them, they're going to readmit me at a redshift, because they're moving against my speed, which is going to widen the frequency of the photons. The individual bits inside of the light ray will get reinterpreted as a wider frequency because it's moving opposite to the direction of the photon. So if you do that a few million times on a trip from 13 billion light years away, the light will end up pretty redshifted because it went through a few atoms on its way. To me, that's a reasonable explanation for why everything far away is redshifted. And now we don't have any reason to believe the universe is expanding in some sort of expandy way. It's not doing any of that crap. But that's it. There's so little evidence for the Big Bang. And the cosmic background radiation, in my opinion, is pretty good evidence of where gravity is coming from, the same location. That it appears that the universe has a source of gravity that seems outside the universe, because it seems like it comes from all directions. And that can only make sense if it's sort of outside, like it's reflecting in. So I could just argue the whole universe is a bubble, and when photons go out of the universe, they hit the end of the bubble and they bounce back as non-frequency gravity again. They're reduced to their elemental form. They lose their frequency. So to me, that can explain it all. But again, it's not a question I give a shit about. I don't think there's not enough material knowledge, okay, of pre-material formation, or we just don't have enough videotape of this primordial universe be able to make any judgments about any kind of Big Bang bullshit. But I think the whole idea of this universe expanding and expanding at one moment, it expanded 10 million times in a millisecond, I think is just absolute crap. I mean, violates the speed of light, violates all kinds of rules. Why would I believe that's how the universe works? It's stupid, in my opinion. So, all right. So I guess I could just talk. Unfortunately, there's no new videos. Nothing new to talk about there. So we get back to some of this kinematics. So these people who rag, like I said, I really want somebody to come into the room willing to defend this stuff. That would be the ideal, where I could ask them. They can ask me a question. Well, how do I account for? And I can ask them a question. Well, what's your explanation for magnetism? Why do you think magnets attract and repel? Draw me a picture of it. How does it work? What's the mechanics? And then I could make arguments about relativity. So the guy was ragging about some relativity argument that I think these frames are boxes. Well, as a practical matter, they have to be. They have to be isolation chambers. Because just by logic, you can understand that the same rules can't apply if they're not somehow separate worlds or dimensions. Just by simple arguments. So you have the simple argument that you have an atom with an electron going around it. So let's just say it's going around in this direction. So obviously, when it's going this way around the top, it's moving this way. And it's going to the bottom, it's going that way, right? Now that atom could be circulating around something. So it could be an atom inside of me, and the Earth is moving. So now it has another speed. So the atom is going. The whole atom is moving in a direction. So when the nucleus of the atom moves this way and the electron moves this way, those are combined speeds now. So now the electron might have been going half the speed of light around the atom. Well, now it's going half the speed of light plus another quarter. Let's say if it's spinning on something small and fast. And then you could just put it on one more stick that's moving. So, the whole solar system is turning, you could argue. We wouldn't know it. Well, we would because the star field would change. Let's just say it's moving in the galaxy. And so now you have another motion. So then the Earth is moving this way. The atom is moving this way on the Earth. And the electron is moving this way, okay, on its orbit. Well, if you add up all those velocities, it would be more than the speed of light. So aren't you violating the speed of light? Because if I released that electron from those frames, it would be going faster than the speed of light. So that can't work. So of course you have to make them boxes or isolation frames somehow. Be able to sit there and say the physics stays the same. Well, the physics can't stay the same if they're open boxes. Because then that electron is going to end up going a lot faster than the speed of light, just by adding up the velocities that it's acquired. Now, I personally don't think electrons are spinning around atoms. They're stuck in magnetic positions. They're locked. And they could be rotating a little here and there, but they're not spinning at preposterous speeds. First, there's no source for the momentum. There's no source for their movement. And then there's the fact that there's no evidence that electrons travel well at all. They don't like going fast. They stop going fast as soon as they can. So the only way you can keep an electron moving is you have to keep pumping it with a voltage. And as soon as you stop hitting it, that is pushing it, it stops moving. It doesn't have a perpetual motion. It doesn't have a perpetual velocity. You can't throw an electron to the moon. It won't go there. It just won't do it. And this is something they don't account for. So they'll make some accusation that I don't understand kinematics when they don't understand the conservation laws. That clearly you have to explain why a free electron can't freely travel through space. And yet you have me to believe that if that electron is tied to a hydrogen nucleus, that somehow it travels through space fine, no problems. Well, what's the difference between being in an atom and being free? What's it hitting that's so different? It's the same universe it's in. So why does it have a problem going fast when in space when it's a little free electron? And why does it do it just fine when it's tied to a nucleus? You don't have any explanations for what inertia is, what velocity is, what acceleration is. They have nothing. Because they don't understand that the only thing that has perpetual motion, from in a fundamental condition, is a photon, is energy. Energy is the only stuff that moves. Everything else has to be pushed. And so when you throw something into space, a big material thing, the reason why it keeps going is because it has a photon engine inside of it. The photons are pushing more in one direction than the other inside of it. Keeps it going. That's the only way you can explain it, because they're the only thing that has any energy. So you create a trap, a gimmick. The electrons go like this. They reflect back, reflect up, reflect back, reflect up, reflect back. Then that ends up hitting more in one direction than hitting in the other direction. So they go. It's a gimmick, but it works. There's little engines inside of matter. But they don't have any explanation for why things keep moving. They just say it does, like it's magic. Well, the only thing it does through magic is the photon. The only thing it does as an elemental function is the photon. Matter doesn't move as an elemental function. It just sits and does nothing till a force acts on it. And it's the fact that it's trapping that force is what keeps it going. And it's a violent process, acceleration. Acceleration doesn't happen easy, it happens hard. Okay, when you're accelerating something, you know you're getting accelerated. This is everything's getting fucked up. Yeah. So, let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, I gotta work on some more overview videos, and the video that I started, I haven't part 1, part 2, part 3, and all that crap. Yeah, but I want to get the lecture videos. So I want to keep trying to get a couple of those done a day just to see if I can get through this. And yeah, so I have conflicting interests. So anyway, so again, there's an open invitation. You just email draftds@draftphysics.com. And if you're willing to defend conventional physics, the standard model, you're willing to answer questions and then have a rational response for if you're going to make some accusation that I'm incorrect or wrong, that you have to back it up with some kind of evidence. I mean, that's what the argument requires, is evidence that it can't be the way I'm saying it is. You have to have evidence of that. You can't just claim it. I have to be able to draw a picture now and then. Yeah, I'm getting inadequate vape. Inadequate. That's fairly acceptable. Yeah. Needs a new battery, perhaps. Batteries are such a hassle. These little stick things are nice, but the batteries are getting weak. It's wearing them out. Only lasts 10 minutes now, maybe. So, give you another minute. Anybody who wishes to keep the room alive with a comment. Otherwise, I'll move along. How many people in the room? It doesn't say. Can't see it anyway. Weird. Guess the window got resized by somebody. 6. That's pretty bad. well, you can't, the brick wall is the brick wall. Somehow you got to provoke something, We'll see. I mean, like I said, you think they offer a $3,000 easy to win kind of contest that somebody might find that interesting, but so far, only 6 entries. Early ins will have an advantage, probably a 2-point advantage for, well, 1.5 anyway, for the first 1/4 of the people who enter. And the first people in the first half will probably have a 1-point advantage total. There will be an advantage to early inners. Now, running out of time. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Like the old commercial. Till next time and such.